We have with us today three innovators in the use of QR codes who will take us on an exploration of building your business through the creative use of QR codes. Mike Redpath, who is the chair of the MODC Cultural and Tourism Committee, the Chief Innovation Officer for Redpath and Associates, LLC, and the Executive Director of the Seaside Heights Business Improvement District. We also have Adam Binder, who's an award-winning digital marketer and the founder of Creative Click Media. And we have his colleague, Brittany Hull, who is a web and graphic designer at Creative Click Media and has designed QR codes for virtual and in-person events, e-commerce sites, and engaging graphics. So at this point, I'd like to turn the program over to Mike to kick things off.
Thank you, Ben. And good morning. Well, Adam and Brittany will be presenting from the perspective of someone who can set up your QR campaign for you. My perspective will be more towards creating your campaign in-house, but we'll all give a lot of general information that will fit either scenario. The key concept that I'm hoping to help you embrace is to get beyond viewing QR codes as a technical device and embrace them as an invitation, an entry, and a connector for increased customer engagement. You are able to provide a lot more information in more creative ways by moving people from the limited environment in which the code appears to a limitless online environment. Increased engagement with customers results in greater loyalty, more sales, and referrals to new customers. For example, I was quite impressed by a full-page ad by Polo in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't shopping for a Polo shirt, but once I was taken to the web landing page, my interest was teased. This is just part of that full page. It was engaging, but then the QR code took you to a web landing page that expanded greatly on the information, including showing samples of every available shirt and facilitating ordering.
Good morning, everyone. Before we delve into the history of a QR code, let's make sure that it's clear what exactly a QR code is. A QR code, or quick response code, is a code that's quickly readable by a cell phone, hence the word quick in the name. Using a combination of spacing as a type of matrix barcode or 2D barcode, when a QR code is scanned, it conveys a wide multitude of information. QR codes have a wide range of uses across all types of industries, such as retail, marketing, and logistics. Like the development of many technologies, QR codes were created out of necessity. They started out as barcodes with their typical purpose for supermarkets. In the 1960s, Japan was experiencing a wave of economic growth, and their supermarkets had expanded from selling just food items to adding in clothing and a versatile range of other commodities. So basically, they realized they needed a way to keep track of everything. The invention of barcodes provided a solution to this problem. However, their limitations also became apparent. The most prominent was the fact that a barcode can only hold 20 alphanumeric characters of information. So users had actually contacted DensoWave Incorporated, who was at the time developing barcode readers, to ask them whether it was possible to develop more complex barcodes that could handle more information. Encouraged by those enthusiastic requests, the development team at DensoWave embarked on the development of a new two-dimensional code out of their sincere desire to accommodate users' needs. Now, while QR codes and barcodes are similar in practice, QR codes contain more information because they have the ability to hold information both horizontally and vertically. Barcodes use only horizontal information. As you can see, they're very different in structure. While barcodes work wonderfully for situations like scanning supermarket items, QR codes have a much higher capability for transferring information. And with all of those, there's over 4,000 dots or squares. The possibilities are infinite. QR codes have a much higher capability of transferring information as a result, which is what has made them increasingly popular due to their versatility. The QR code system was invented in 1984 by a gentleman named Masahiro Hara at DensoWave Company. The initial design was actually influenced by the black and white pieces of a Go board, which is a traditional Chinese game. QR codes have been popular in countries like China, Brazil, and Japan for years. Statistics like these show just how impactful they've become in everyday life, being incorporated into activities ranging from grocery shopping to fitness regimens. Though the pandemic has a direct correlation with the substantial increase in popularity in the US, QR codes and their many benefits are here to stay.
Like so many things during the pandemic, necessity was the mother of what seemed like short-term inventions that then proved so useful that they've grown as post-pandemic tools. For example, touch-free menus became a necessity. An online menu that popped up when a QR code on a table tent was scanned became the solution. And restaurateurs found they could instantly update menus, plus enrich those menus with links to additional information. In Seaside Heights, we found ourselves faced with the second year of not being able to do our traditional Palm Sunday Easter egg hunt. We created a hunt that people could do independently and socially distanced as family groups, searching for QR code-based clue posters that took participants to a web page with clue information on it. The participants collected the clues and completed an online entry form. We then sent all valid entrants prize coupons. This worked so well that we are adapting the concept to incorporate it into our regular egg hunt next year and to adapt it for other uses.
We recently designed a custom QR code and accompanying poster and flyer for a Hunger Foundation event that included an interactive auction. The QR code seen in the right-hand corner of the poster on the left directed participants straight to the auction items, allowing them to place their bids easily online. This serves as a great example of how QR codes can go far beyond directing users to a simple web page, but also encourage further collaboration and generate donorship, all while catering to existing branding like the Hunger Foundations.
Now we're going to talk about some of the capabilities of QR codes. First up, direct links. Some of the places you can link to are your website, landing pages, social media, interactive content, but really the list goes on and on. QR codes are really about saving your visitors time and effort from manually inputting information and searching through the vast expanse of the online world. Such as the example that Brittany just gave with the auction, that URL was really long. There's no way because that was on a poster at a big event, a physical event with hundreds of people in attendance. There's no way anybody was actually going to type in that long URL. It was the furthest thing from a pretty URL you could imagine. But with that QR code, in 2 seconds they could be transported to that auction, and if you make it easy, you're gonna get better results. Some other things you can do is to include a V card. Where if you make it scannable through your QR code, you can easily share contact info and just slip your contact information directly into your visitor's contact list. No typing required on their part. All they need to do is scan the code and save it right to their device. In the same vein, you can offer mobile-friendly content that's useful on the go, like travel guides or instruction manuals with the PDF QR code. Since users can save the documents directly to their smartphones, they can access the information on the fly anytime when they need to.
QR codes also make it easier for small businesses to bridge the gap between desktop and mobile, all while encouraging reciprocal action. Embedding QR codes with mobile coupons can drive both in-store and online sales. And studies show that consumers are 10 times more likely to redeem mobile coupons as they are traditional ones. SMS and email marketing opens up a world of endless possibilities to build further interactions with customers, donors, and any of the like through subscriptions, promotions, prizes, and much more. This also allows you to easily establish continued contact with those very customers.
Marketing for apps requires research and tactful decision-making to ensure that the app is successful. Tracking campaign metrics, focusing on the correct target audience, and creating app-related content are a major part. But did you know that app QR codes are a fantastic way to increase app downloads? A big reason why QR codes are particularly useful for app marketing campaigns is that it removes a step that the customer needs to download the app. Instead of the customer viewing the App Store badge on a website and then having to search for the app themselves on their smartphone, adding an app QR code means the user scans the app QR code with their mobile phone and downloads the app directly. Video content is one of the top types of content that can be used to promote apps. One fact that we found is that marketers that use video to promote apps can grow their revenue 49% faster than non-video users. It's no surprise that a lot of people spend time watching videos online, and customers tend to love videos. They're very shareable on social media as well. And then, another key point is that you can track your key performance indicators, or KPIs, which refer to the metrics used to understand the success of a marketing campaign, so you know how to make it more efficient. These metrics include app downloads, daily active users, which are the daily number of people who use the app on a daily basis, monthly active users, which are the number of people who use the app on a monthly basis, stickiness rate, which is how likely a user will change from daily to monthly or monthly to daily, daily sessions, retention rate, percentage of users who come back to the app after the initial visit, the churn ratio, which is the percentage of users who no longer use the app. So it really enhances from a marketing perspective. There's certainly a lot more that can be done with QR codes than just using traditional links when it comes to marketing apps.
Why rely on the exterior of your business signs and window displays to draw customers in? Provide them with a preview to draw them in via a video or photograph linked from a QR code in the storefront window. You can oftentimes also predict the most common questions of your customers, such as what are your business hours and where are you located? Giving them the opportunity to find quick answers to these questions will establish your business as a dependable one. Providing a map directory or an easily accessible way to reach out with just one click also removes the common frustration in trying to locate your business's correct contact information.
Shopping and e-commerce. With QR codes, you can offer an easy way to browse products and provide a quick and secure checkout. The screenshots here that you're looking at are actually from Square, but these methods are becoming available in all forms of traditional and types of payment, and they're even used for cryptocurrency. E-commerce businesses are using QR codes in convenience-oriented and commercial tracking applications targeting smartphone users and other Wi-Fi enabled device users. In addition to sending messages or emails, saving contact information, and opening up a web page, you'll find them on email signatures at business gatherings or in-store product examples. The e-commerce industry has long relied on the CNP, or card not present method of payment, that directs consumers to enter credit card details and security codes before buying items. But this comes with more risks, as merchants store the customer's details online, which could be devastating in the event of online data breaches. With QR codes, though, the purchasing experience for customers and merchants is improving, as consumers can make payments simply without the merchant getting customer data or sensitive information. This way, the transaction is faster, more secure, and simplified. Consumers can hold their mobile devices to scan and read the code using a payment app and initiate payments without entering credit card details. So what we're looking at here is static versus dynamic QR codes. Static QR codes, the information stored on static QR codes is fixed, and it does not allow changing of the destination address of the data or URL once generated. It also does not allow you to track the data of the scans and only leads you to one URL. The code that's being embedded is hard-coded and cannot be altered. So static is usually provided through some of the free providers, and usually by individuals. Most businesses are going to want a dynamic code, which will allow them to track data and edit the URL or content at any time to any other URL, saving time and money on printing. With a static QR, the user will go directly to the URL. However, data cannot be tracked and you're unable to edit the URL. For marketing, dynamic QR codes are more useful, as you can set up your QR code tracking system and track the number of scans, when the user scanned, the location of the scan, and even the device type of the user. We were talking about using this for restaurants earlier. One good use for the dynamic is, changing a lunch to a dinner menu, using the same code so that the restaurant doesn't need to change it. They can just change the data on the back end.
I encourage you to adopt as part of your creative thinking that the use of QR codes improves your success at getting your customer to do something that you'd like them to do. They don't have to deal with typing in a URL or a web address, and it can even be fun for them. You are facilitating a desired response.
Now that we have discussed the uses and benefits of QR codes, we're going to switch gears and give some helpful tips for you to implement QR codes in your own business.
Before you get too far into the design for utilizing a QR code, be clear about your desired outcome. Then create a visual workflow, gather your required resources, build out the projected campaign, and refer back to your desired income and ensure that it's accomplished. I have reservations about QR codes on highway billboards, as you have to rely on a person noticing the billboard and QR code and then being able to scan the code from a moving car. QR codes on billboards are great in settings like where a lot of people are walking, such as a city, but rather questionable in a highway setting like the one seen here. And think carefully about using a QR code to display within something that appears on a digital screen. For example, this Today Show QR works if a person is watching on one screen and can scan with their digital device. But if they're watching the Today Show on, for example, their smartphone while they're shaving, then they're not able to use that device to scan the code. Also be careful about displaying so many codes that they become confusing. For example, multiple codes work well for a building directory, such as the one on the left, to give details about each occupant, but you probably don't want to do more than a couple on informational signage like the Wawa A-frame signs to which you want a response. There are multiple tools to create QR codes ranging in price as well as capability and creative freedom. When I first just used a couple of QR codes on signs, I used one of the free online services. There are numerous free providers that you can find with an online search. The downside is less flexibility and limited services. Then I discovered that a subscription service could be a great value. The one we use now is inexpensive, allows flexibility of design, such as colors and incorporating graphics, provides tracking and analytics, and allows changing the target of the code. Essentially, they're dynamic QR codes. There are many subscription services available. I use Flowcode because I like the round design that's more pleasing to incorporate in graphics. Plus there's color choices, there's the ability to do a center graphic and various other features.
For businesses that have more complex needs and a working budget, hiring a marketing agency might be your best option. The pros of utilizing a design agency can set your QR campaign apart from the many others, including receiving a well thought out professional design, a complex workflow behind such a design, and a unique user experience from scan to desired outcome. In the time following the creation of the QR code, you'll also have advanced tracking capabilities and a solution that was done for you. As with the other tools, there are a few cons to take into account. A higher cost is often associated with a design agency's creative abilities and resources, as well as a possibly longer timeline from conception to completion. So what are some do's and don'ts in designing your QR code? At the top of the list should be the QR code's readability. With that in mind, there are a few items to consider. So where will the QR code be placed, and how will that positively or negatively affect its usage? Will it be viewed on a cell phone or a tablet or possibly even a large digital interface? The colors you choose go far beyond making the QR code more appealing to the eye. They can not only change the aesthetic, but can also impact the QR code's functionality. High contrasting colors will ensure they are scannable in all instances and readable from far away. And overall, you want to strike a balance between uniqueness and practicality. A beautifully designed QR code isn't worth much if it doesn't work. So once you've taken all of these points into consideration, you'll need to test the process from start to finish to make sure it works in all instances and not just some or a few. Complications can of course arise, but preparation for such instances is key. Take these questions into context, like what is the distance in which the QR code will be viewed, or will Wi-Fi interfere with the user experience? And then decide whether or not they will change your QR code's design and operation.
Right. So how can you take advantage of this growing trend for your business? Keep in mind that much more than web addresses can be scanned. For example, you can use QR codes to direct clients to your resume, LinkedIn profile, or website. You can use QR codes in a direct mail piece, business card, or postcard to provide a discount. You can give customers an inside look at your new Facebook promotion. You can share a digital menu for your restaurant, food truck, or catering company. You can direct users to download your app. You can take them to a page with more detailed information that wouldn't easily fit in a print ad, such as a product sheet or a pricing list. You can deliver step-by-step instructional videos or a printable setup sheet. You can have the QR code send a tweet when scanned, or even check in with Foursquare. You can use QR codes to let users enroll in an event, such as a webinar. You can use QR codes to let customers send themselves a reminder via SMS. Can use it to link them to a special exclusive YouTube video, particularly effective in retail, and even to deliver AR content. So there are many uses, and there's probably a lot more than even the ones I mentioned.
Well, let's conclude by looking at just a few examples of QR code use. And since we're running really well on time, I'll invite Brittany and Adam to comment on these campaigns also. The Seaside Heights Easter egg hunt was a fun blend of real experience and digital engagement. And if you notice where I mentioned earlier about being able to do a color round and a graphic in the center, we were able to blend the QR codes for each clue poster with the Easter egg that had appeared within. One thing we did learn from this, because we did redundant posters so that people could have a choice of where they scanned a particular clue poster, we should have done different QR codes for every poster as opposed to just like the green clue and the blue clue, because that would have given us more data input. You can also encourage and facilitate Facebook likes or Google reviews when your customer is still in your business. You know, while you still have them in front of you, there's a greater possibility that they'd be willing to do a quick like or review if it was easy for them to access Facebook or Google.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that a good idea for this would be to put a QR code, next to or on product packaging, to solicit reviews or social media follows and likes.
This architecture firm makes it easy for potential customers to contact them. I haven't seen the context of this particular sign, but I can envision anywhere that you have a project, or if you're a builder, on the sign that identifies you as the person building a particular project, you can put a QR code that takes people to a video that tells your story and educates them as far as why they would want to do business with you. And make it easy for your customers to subscribe to your emails while they are still up from experiencing your business. while they're still in front of you, while they're still in your store or other business, it's a prime time for them to be able to just quickly access a sign-up form and subscribe to your email, as opposed to hoping that they remember to do it when they get home.
Yeah, and I think this too is like low-hanging fruit, because emails are known to be one of the most valuable pieces of information that you can have about a consumer, and they're also one of the easiest to get. So that this is pretty easy to implement in your own business.
And I'm seeing more and more instances of QR codes on product packaging. And while it certainly can provide, here, for example, is a wrapper from a loaf of bread, it certainly can provide additional nutritional information. I've seen other instances where it also tells the story of the producer, so that, again, you're just building on the relationship with the customer. This I found particularly interesting because as we built the presentation, I assumed, having been quarantined and not out shopping too much, that when I went to a store like Target looking for examples of manufacturers having QR codes next to their product displays in stores, it was really hard to find them. And yet it makes absolute sense. Instead of just putting a few words in front of the potential customer with the product that you hope that they purchase, they can scan a QR code and, again, either see a video or just a graphically pleasing website that acts as a salesman for you.
And I would say another good example of a QR code that links to a video is actually the one that we made, and that was added to the flyer for this event. And we were able to make a custom landing page that linked right to the brief informational video that just introduced me, Adam, and Mike. So that was just another great example of how you can utilize linking to a specific YouTube video.
And you can also do a virtual tour. I actually took this photo over at Mellow Mushroom in Toms River while I was waiting for my food. And they have multiple locations all the way from Atlanta, Georgia to Toms River, New Jersey, and a bunch of places in between. Each one has original artwork. And by scanning the QR code, you can actually interact with the artist, view their work, do the online tour, learn more about the company and their food. There's a really clever use of branding, really, in the brand awareness in through a QR code.
So we know this is a lot of information in a short period of time. Our primary goal was to show you possibilities and challenge your creativity.
We encourage you to now take on that challenge.
And we thank you for attending and welcome you to ask questions at this time.